Morning guys, it's another rainy day here in Southern California. Fortunately, I've had a lot of these lately. In fact, my last video was on the rain and how it affects solar systems. Today, I got a call from a customer that asked another good question. It was somebody that I worked with, probably about 2 years ago, and he got what's called a true-up statement from Edison this last week. For those of you who don't know, when you have solar, you don't come off the grid. You still have an account with Edison in this case. If it's up north, it could be PGE. If you're down in San Diego, it's San Diego Gas and Electric. And what happens is your system is still connected through your house and to the main grid, and you produce power, hopefully enough to cover all the usage on your house, and maybe even a little bit more to go back onto the grid that your electric company will buy from you, essentially. Now, if we do our jobs correctly, we're going to size your system to about 105, 110% of your usage based on what you used last year. And that extra power that you sell to them is going to prevent them from charging you anything at the end of the year. So as the year goes on, every month you'll get a statement, not a bill anymore, it's a statement, and it'll tell you if you owe them a little bit or if they owe you a little bit. So as an example, usually in the summer for us when it's hot and the air conditioning's on, your bill is going to be a little bit higher. So you're going to get a statement from Edison, again, Edison in our case, that might say that you owe them like 40 bucks. You don't pay it. You wait until the end of the year. And then in the fall or in the winter, in our case, we produce a lot more solar than we require. It goes onto the grid and they buy it from us. And so I'll get a statement from them that says, well, this month we owe you $85. And there's a little box in the top right corner, and the thumbnail will show it in the picture, but I'll post a picture also in the comments that shows what that should look like. It should be negative at the end of the year, and that's called a true up. So when you get to your 12th month, so your anniversary of when solar was turned on originally, you'll have a dollar amount there. And the dollar amount for us would be like a negative 150 bucks or something like that. And that'll just stack up year after year. In some cases, you can request that money back in the form of a check or a deposit from your electrical company, but that's not true everywhere. So I don't want to be quoted saying that. This particular customer that I worked with a couple years ago got their true up this year, and they owed a couple $100. In this case, it was $450, which isn't a big deal. But I wanted to look at why that happened. Now, in this case, I went off of what they'd used the previous year. And what happened was year after year, they used a little bit more power. So this last year, the year before this, they were actually negative. It was like 50 bucks. So I had them pull the one from last year, and it was negative. The reason the one this year they owed money was because they added an electric car. So of course your solar system doesn't produce an unlimited amount of power. It produces enough power for what you need based on what you used last year. And part of that is a conversation that we have. So sometimes customers will have in the works plans to have more kids, or they're going to move grandma in, or they're going to buy an electric car, like is what happened in this case, or add a pool. Anything like that will add more power. Maybe they're just being super conservative. So what the power that they're using isn't reflective of what they would like to use. Maybe they want to use air conditioner more. So that's part of that conversation. We built out the system. And in this case, we just didn't know that he was going to buy an electric car in a couple years. So simple solution. What we do is we come back in and we add a couple more panels. There is a separate inverter that we put in place, and there is a minimum size requirement. So in this case, we have to put in at least 5 panels, but mathematically it's going to work out perfectly. We're going to tack on another 30% from what he needs. It'll cover all of his usage, and actually it'll cover that second EV that he's looking to get in the future. So if you have solar and you get that true up every year and you owe them money, usually the cutoff is somewhere between $400 or $500. You want to start looking at it where it starts to become less expensive to add on solar. Everybody knows electric gets more and more expensive every year. So if it's $400 this year, the rule of thumb is it goes up by about 50% every year. So $400 this year is going to be $600 next year. If it's $600 this year, it's going to be $900 the year following, so on and so forth. So obviously getting ahead of that is a good idea. Paying a little bit more, this year to get it installed prevents additional costs this year, next year, the year after that. And you can go back to using your power the way that you want. So again, if you have solar panels currently, check that little true up box in the top right corner for Edison. It's a different place depending on what your electric company is. And see what you're paying and see what you owe. And if you get above $500 or $600, give us a call, and we'll take a look at it with you and evaluate if you're using your power the way that you want to be using it, and we'll get a secondary system in place and take care of you. This is Patrick with Bash Energy. I appreciate your time. If you have any questions or comments, I love doing this kind of thing, so please leave them down below or just reach out to us. It's www.bashenergy.us or patrick@bashenergy.us. Thanks very much, and see you next time.